By the time your child turns 7, their money habits are already forming. So if you're not talking to your kids about money, someone else is.
Welcome to She Wins, Women, Wealth, Wisdom, and Legacy, the podcast where financial empowerment meets fearless living. If you're a woman who's built a life with purpose and is ready to align your wealth with what matters most, you're in the right place. Your host, Carol Eddy, is a certified financial planner, financial educator, and passionate advocate for helping women live fearlessly and leave a legacy. Whether they are preparing for retirement, managing an inheritance, or simply looking for trustworthy financial guidance, Carol has helped her clients feel confident in their financial plan for over 25 years. Each week, she'll share insights and practical strategies to help you create financial freedom, navigate smart money choices, master your money mindset, and make winning decisions now and for the next chapter of your life. No intimidation, no overwhelm, no jargon, just wisdom, clarity, and the confidence to manage your wealth, embrace your power, and craft a future you love. Welcome to the show. As a reminder, the content shared on this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute personalized financial advice. For guidance tailored to your specific situation, you can schedule an appointment with Carol. This is an independent podcast not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corporation.
Hi, I'm Carol. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about how to talk to your kids about money. Here's the truth. Your kids are already learning about money. The question is, who's teaching them? If it's not you, chances are it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or other friends. And while I love a good budgeting hack or a financial tip as much as the next person, social media is not where I want kids or my clients' kids learning about credit cards, investing, or discipline with money. And here's the kicker. If you don't talk to your children about wealth, someone else will. And that someone else may not have the wisdom, the values, or the perspective of your family needs. So today, we're going to dive into one of the most important but often avoided conversations: how to raise money-smart kids. What to say, what not to say, and how to build confidence at every age so that one day, when they inherit your wealth or simply manage their own, they're prepared, not overwhelmed. Today, we're going to make sure your wisdom can transfer along with your wealth. So the problem is why kids struggle with money. Let's start with a little known fact. Most children form their money habits by the age of 7 years old. That's before multiplication tables, before middle school, before the first job, or even their first babysitting gig. Which means by second grade, the way they think about money is already being shaped by what they see, hear, and experience. Think about it from their perspective. They see you swipe a card at the grocery store and magically groceries appear. They watch you press buttons at the ATM and then money pops out. They see you tap a few buttons on Amazon and a package shows up at the door the next day. Without context, they draw their own conclusions. And the conclusion is often, money just appears when you need it. By the time they're teenagers, the world is teaching them louder lessons. TikTok influencers showing off luxury cars and vacations, friends bragging at parents who just pay for everything, and then some peers measure popularity by the brands of shoes, phones, or clothes they wear. If you don't step in, these lessons stick. Now here's the challenge. Most parents avoid money talks. You tell me things like, I don't want to spoil my kids by telling them too much. Or I wasn't taught about money growing up, so how am I supposed to teach them? Or what if I scare them by talking about debt, taxes, or inheritance? But silence has consequences. One of my clients, let's call her Diane, avoided money conversations. She loved her daughter, but she said she thought they'll figure it out when they get older. Her daughter went off to college. Within the first week, she passed a credit card booth at the student union. They were handing out free t-shirts if you signed up for a card. She signed up for 3 of them. By the end of her freshman year, she had over $4,000 in credit card debt. She called her mom in tears. Diane then realized that she had left her unprepared. And that's the danger. Kids will learn about the money one way or another. The only question is, do they learn it from you or from expensive mistakes? This isn't just about whether your child overspends on Starbucks or sneakers. The stakes are far bigger. Research shows that 70% of wealthy families lose their wealth by the second generation. And by the third generation, 90% of that wealth is gone. Not because of bad investments, not because of a market crash, but because the wisdom and values around money never get passed down. Think about that for a moment. Generations of sacrifice and discipline erased in just 2 generations because the family avoided talking about money. So this isn't just about raising money smart kids, it's about legacy. So what not to say? Landmines parents step on. Let's start with the things parents often say with the best of intentions, but that often backfire. Number one, we can't afford that. Sometimes this is true, but often it's said in a quick way to end the conversation. Kids are smart. If you say we can't afford a vacation, but then you buy a new car, they notice. And the lesson they learn is not about priorities, it's about inconsistency. Better language, you can say, that's not a priority for us right now. Here's what is. This teaches intentionality. It shows kids that money is about choices. Number two, don't worry about money. You'll be fine. I hear this one a lot. Parents say it to comfort their kids. But what it actually communicates is money isn't your responsibility. Someone else will always handle it. This can foster entitlement or worse, passivity. Kids who grow up believing they'll always be taken care of often lack the motivation to manage their own money wisely. And third, silence. The most damaging landmine is no conversation at all. Silence tells kids that money is taboo, that it's too scary, too complicated, or too private to talk about. And in that silence, kids fill in the blanks with their peers, with culture, or with their own assumptions. So let's talk about another couple I worked with, we'll call Martin and Diane. They were incredibly successful, but they never talked about money with their daughter. When they passed, she inherited several $1,000,000. Instead of feeling empowered, she felt paralyzed. She said, I don't know how to do this. My parents never talked about money. I feel like I'm drowning. That's what silence produces, fear and anxiety where there could have been confidence. So what to say? Builders that shape confidence. Here are the 4 powerful phrases that build confidence instead of confusion. Number 1, in our family, money is a tool, not a scorecard. This frames wealth as purposeful. Money is not about comparison. It's not about who has the nicest car or the biggest house. It's about making choices aligned with your values. 2, here's how we make financial decisions. Narrate your process. For example, we chose to buy a used car instead of a new because we'd rather save the difference and invest it. Or something like we give to the food bank each month because we value supporting families in our community. When kids hear you say why, they don't just see rules, they see values in action. 3, let's practice managing money together. This is where the rubber meets the road. Responsibility builds skill. For young kids, that might mean allowance with jars. For tweens, a prepaid debit card with a monthly budget. For teens, responsibility for their phone bill or gas money. And for young adults, conversations about taxes, investing, and philanthropy. 4, here's what we value about money as a family. This ties money to meaning. Maybe your family values education, generosity, or travel. Tell stories. Storytelling is the glue that makes financial lessons stick. So some age-appropriate lessons for this, let's walk through it at each stage. For ages 5 to 10, money basics. Kids love hands-on learning. This is the age for the spend, save, and share system. The practical idea for this one is give them $10. Let them put $5 in a spend, $3 in a save, and $2 in a share. And then a dialogue example, when a child says, can I buy this toy? You say, let's check your spend jar. You have $8. The toy costs $10. You can wait and buy it next week or pick something else today. The lesson is patience, choice, and responsibility. Ages 11 to 14, think about money in action. At this age, kids are ready for independence. Give them a prepaid debit card with a monthly budget, and then review their spending. Ask questions like, what would you do differently next month? Evelyn gave her son $50 a month. He spent it all in the first week on pizza with friends. By month 3, he learned to plan and pace for himself. And then introduce giving. Ask things like, which charity do you want to support this month? Let them choose. Ages 15 to 18, money independence. This is when teens encounter real-world expenses. Teach them how to budget for gas, phone bills, and part-time job income, how credit works, how compounding works in investing. An example of this conversation, if the teen says, why can't I just pay the minimum on my credit card? You can say, let's look. If you owe $1,000 and only pay the minimum, you'll spend over $600 in interest. If you pay $200 a month, you'll be done in 5 months. Which do you prefer? For 18 and over, money stewardship. Now it's time for legacy. Talk openly about what inheritance will look like without creating entitlement. Invite them into charitable giving. And share your family's financial values. A client of mine invited her 22-year-old into their annual charitable planning meeting. Instead of seeing money as moms, she saw it as an opportunity to make an impact. I know this can feel like a lot. That's why I've created a free resource, the Family Wealth Conversation Checklist. It includes scripts for each age stage, questions ask your teen before college, 5 do's and don'ts for inheritance talks. You can download it from our show notes. And when you're making a plan for conversations, think of this framework. Number 1, clarity. Decide what values matter most. 2, consistency. Talk often, not once. 3, practice. Give responsibility. Let them fail safely. 4, transparency. Share age-appropriate details. 5, legacy. Connect money to purpose, not entitlement. Imagine this, your child graduates college, not just debt-free, but confident. They understand budgets, they've already started saving and investing. When they inherit wealth, they don't panic. They don't squander it. They steward it wisely. That's the power of intentional conversations. So let me ask you, when was the last time you talked to your kids about money? Don't wait. Start this week. And let me help you. You can download the Family Wealth Conversation Checklist. It will give you scripts, prompts, and confidence to start today. Because wealth isn't just about money, it's about wisdom, values, and legacy. Until next time, stay wise, stay empowered, and keep shaping the legacy you want to leave. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for joining us today for the She Wins Women, Wealth, Wisdom, and Legacy podcast. If today's episode sparked a shift in how you think about your money, your future, or your legacy, imagine what's possible when we walk this journey together. And if you found value in today's conversation, please share this episode with a woman you care about. Together we rise and we shine. If this inspired you to take charge of your financial future, don't stop there. Download your free guide, A Woman's Guide to Triumph in Every Decade of Her Wealth, by clicking the link on the screen or in the show notes. It's designed to give you powerful tools and clarity at every stage of your wealth journey. And be sure to follow or subscribe now so you never miss an episode. Until next time, stay wise, stay empowered, and remember, it's time to rise, lead, and thrive with your wealth, your wisdom, and your legacy. As a reminder, the content shared on this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute personalized financial advice. For guidance tailored to your specific situation, you can schedule an appointment with Carol. This is an independent podcast not affiliated with Money Concepts Capital Corporation.